I want you to imagine it's 7:30 in the morning. I work at Ed White Middle School. You work where you work. And you ever walked into the building, and as soon as you walk into the building, there's like a parent waiting. You know what I'm talking about? Or there's a student in your office and you're like, can I just even get into work, right? Now, when I say a student, I don't know if you work as an administrator, sometimes you are in charge of alpha or grade levels, and these are 8th grade students. So I've got an 8th grader sitting in my office, and I said, so what happened? He said he had his hat on, his earbuds, his hoodie. He was walking around the building where he shouldn't be in the morning. And so the teachers were like, you should be there, you should be here. And he was like cursing at teachers or whatever. Administrator was called, she was there first. And she said he ended up putting his hands on me, and I was like, what? Now, I'm a very reactive person. As soon as I hear someone put their hands on someone on my campus, I'm ready to go to work. I don't even need coffee, and I don't drink coffee. So boom, I open the door. He's sitting there with his hats and his earbuds and his hoodie. And I'm like, hey, how many times have we talked about those 3 things happening on our campus is unacceptable? And let me get this right. You want to walk around the building acting like you own the place? Not going to happen today, tomorrow. And let me get this right. You put your hands on somebody on today's campus, see you. In the state of Texas, the maximum suspension is 3 days. I sent him home for 3 days. Y'all with me on this? And I felt really good about it. Now, I want you to fast forward about 30 days later, a month. The 3 assistant principals, we try to have lunch once a week together. So we're like, hey, you fly, you buy. And I'm like, oh, y'all want to cover my lunch duty and I'll go buy? I got it. Chinese food, I'm down the road. I'm coming back with 3 containers of Chinese food coming back to the campus. I'm driving through the neighborhood, and that's coming through, and I see all these cross streets like this, right? And I'm looking down the cross streets, just chilling, driving. And I see a kid about the size of a middle school, and that can't be one of our kids. And y'all ever had that Jiminy Cricket moment, right? I'm like, go eat your lunch. And he's like, go see who the kid is, right? Go eat your lunch. And I'm like, God. And I said, I'll compromise. I'll go down the other road and I'll pull this way and we'll see what happens. So I pull my truck the other way, and as soon as they see my truck, he starts turning around a while. I'm like, dang it. That means it's one of my kids, because they all know my truck. Because if you leave my campus, I will chase you down. You ever had that moment when you see a kid and you realize, wait, I haven't seen you all day? I'm like, hey, if you haven't been to school today, get in. So I'm driving down the road. I take him to his house. I knock on the front door. Dad opens the front door, shocked, like, why are you bringing my kid home today? And I said, I don't know, let's ask him. I said, why didn't you go to school today? He looked at me with his dark brown eyes and he said, why do you care now? And I'm standing at this doorstep and I'm like, what do you mean? He said, why do you care now? He said, a month ago you didn't care. My parents got into a huge fight the night before. My mom left and took all my siblings, left me at home, and nobody told me why I was the only one left home. I got up that morning and I remember you telling me that I couldn't miss any more school because of my attendance if I wanted to make it to the 9th grade. Then you told me I needed to come to school, and so I came to school. And when I came to school, I tried to be in the courtyard, in the cafeteria, where every other student's supposed to be. And guess what? I didn't want to be around other students. I wanted to be where my mom was at. My dad was drunk and passed out in bed, so all I did was listen to my music and walk. So I got into the building to get away from the kids, but if you get away from the kids, you get in the building early. We don't let kids in the building, right? So now you run into the teachers. Now you got teachers yelling at you, get your hat off, get your hoodie, get your hair, blah, blah, blah. And then administrator shows up. He goes, did you ever ask Miss Tompkins, failure number 2, did you ever ask Miss Tompkins what it looked like putting my hands on her? He said, because she literally tried to grab me and pull me down, and I just pushed her hands away. And all I know is I stood there at the door. I suspended this kid for 3 days. And I'm not saying he doesn't need consequences, so please don't get that out of this. Understand, he didn't need a 3-day suspension. He got a 3-day suspension. Do y'all understand the difference right there? Because I got to set the tone with that right there. What he needed was someone to say, let's get a hold of your mom. What he needed was to understand, when you're struggling and somebody's yelling and screaming, where do you go? Because I'm going to tell you right now, when I work with campuses, and I'm not even condoning their behavior, what I'm telling you is, when you have a kid that's escalated and they don't have a pathway, a clear pathway where to go, they are going to fail on your campus, are they not? And we are going to collide with them every single time, and they're going to end up with a consequence. And I'm just telling you, I'm not against consequences. I'm telling you, what they don't need is not the consequence. And when you look at this, we have to understand, if it just took 1 minute, we can make a difference in their lives.